Sounds good. So this was asking how the respondents assess or measure the financial performance of their employed physicians. Again, probably not a surprise. The two dominant methods with the clear leader are work RVUs, followed by revenue generated relative to cost. The third one that's interesting for us, we started to track this as physician panel size, because that's obviously tied closely to capitation or per member per month payment models, and it's a metric we do expect to grow, so we're starting to actually include that as a metric in some of our surveys on this issue. But Matt, as you look at these top two, work RVUs versus revenue generated relative to cost, what are the pros and cons for systems looking at these two different models?
Well, as a CPA, I can appreciate the financial aspects of just about anything, and from a healthcare perspective, this is kind of gets into the rate and volume discussion. I mean, work relative value units is your volume. You got to have production. You got to have volume. It drives your financials. But revenue, which is an impact of volume and rate, what kind of negotiated rates you get with payers, how efficient you are at collecting. You got to cover your fixed costs in your practice.
Right.
You should cover physician comp. Those are basic tenets to have a healthy financial statement, but you can't just err on the side of volume. And so I got to get volume, because that's going to kind of be counterproductive to where we need to be with health reform. We're going to have to be very careful with what services we decide to utilize and push and what services we don't. Obviously, caring for the patient needs to be the primary driver, but that's a short answer.
Yeah, and on the revenue generated relative to cost, I know we've heard to some extent that physicians can be a little leery about that, because they're really, especially if the system has taken over